CDC warns diarrhea-inducing crypto parasites on the rise in U.S. pools. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says outbreaks of a parasitic infection linked to swimming pools are increasing, and there have been twice as many outbreaks in 2016 as in 2014. Cryptosporidium, commonly known as crypto, is a microscopic parasite that causes the diarrheal disease cryptosporidiosis. Even in properly chlorinated water, it can survive up to 10 days. Swallowing just a mouthful of water with crypto can make healthy people sick for weeks. It can cause stomach cramps, nausea, diarrhea, and can lead to dehydration. The only way to get rid of the parasite is by treating the water with extremely high levels of chlorine that are dangerous for swimmers. Ohio was one of the states with the most reported cases. A total of 1,940 people fell ill due to the infection in 2016.
Say no to safe spaces on YouTube. Support TomoNews at patreon.com/TomoNews.
With all the diseases floating around out there, you'll never want to leave the house again.
Fresh Ebola outbreak in Congo kills 3. The World Health Organization has confirmed there was a new Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of the Congo over the weekend. This comes a year after the previous epidemic in West Africa killed 11,000 people. The outbreak was declared in the town of Aketi, near the border with the Central African Republic. Of the 19 suspected and confirmed cases, 3 people have died. The first case occurred on April 22nd, when a 45-year-old man died after taking a taxi to a hospital. The driver of the taxi later fell ill and also died. A third person who cared for the 45-year-old man also became ill and died. An experimental Ebola vaccine might be used to control the outbreak. The vaccine replaces a gene from the harmless vesicular stomatitis virus with a gene encoded with a surface protein of the Ebola virus. The vaccine produces an immune response in humans. Some 300,000 emergency doses of the vaccine are available. Health officials in the Congo are trying to contact 125 people who have potential links to the identified cases. WHO officials have not yet decided whether or not to use the experimental Ebola vaccines to contain the outbreak. Could yellow fever outbreak in Brazil be the next Zika? U.S. officials are closely monitoring a yellow fever outbreak in Brazil, as they fear it could be the next Zika virus. The yellow fever outbreak in Brazil has mostly affected rural areas in the southeastern part of the country. There have been 371 confirmed cases. The virus was primarily spread by forest-dwelling mosquitoes to monkeys, but an increasing number of people in the jungle have been infected, triggering the outbreak. There is concern that some of the infected people will travel to urban areas and spread the virus to city-dwelling Aedes aegypti mosquitoes, which are the same species that transmit the Zika virus. The mosquitoes could then start spreading the disease in urban areas. The fatality rate for the outbreak of yellow fever is 33% for confirmed cases and 11% for suspected cases. The disease cannot be cured, but there is a highly effective vaccine for the virus. Contamination fears spark Eggo waffle recall. Kellogg recalled 10,000 cases of Eggo Nutri-Grain whole wheat waffles in 25 U.S. states on Monday due to potential risks of Listeria contamination. Listeria monocytogenes bacteria is commonly found in soil and water. Vegetables can be contaminated with the bacteria from soil, while animals can carry it without appearing ill and can infect meat and dairy products. Once inside food, the bacteria can spread to processing facilities, where it can survive for years, multiplying and contaminating other products. The bacteria can even survive being frozen and can spread to the freezer where the contaminated food is stored. When a person eats food containing Listeria monocytogenes, the bacteria can spread in the body and cause an infection, with symptoms including fever and muscle aches. CRF Frozen Foods announced a nationwide recall of almost 360 frozen fruits and vegetables after a Listeria outbreak in May. Meanwhile, ice cream brand Bluebell recalled its products everywhere after a large Listeria outbreak last year. Say no to safe spaces on YouTube. Support TomoNews at patreon.com/TomoNews.
Chipotle E. coli outbreak infects 39. United States health officials are investigating the cause of a toxic bacterial outbreak traced to Chipotle restaurants that has infected 39 people and hospitalized 14. A strain of E. coli has infected 29 people in Washington state and 10 in Oregon state. The strain has been identified as E. coli 026. This strain is less dangerous than others, such as the 0157H7 strain that killed 4 children in the 1990s. Health officials suspect the latest outbreak in Chipotle restaurants came from contaminated fresh produce, but are still trying to find its source. The 026 strain produces Shiga toxin, which causes illness 3 to 4 days after consumption. People usually develop stomach cramps or diarrhea. However, some may develop more severe symptoms, leading to a type of kidney failure called hemolytic uremic syndrome, or HUS. Symptoms for HUS include unexplained bruises or bleeding from the nose and mouth, as well as fatigue and fever. Meanwhile, Chipotle has voluntarily closed all of its Washington restaurants and some in Oregon, but the outbreak doesn't seem to be bothering many online. Asherina says she would die happily if it were while eating Chipotle, while Noelle says that it would take more than a little E. coli to stop her eating at Chipotle. And Amanda A says that having just read about people contracting E. coli, she's now hungry for some Chipotle. But what about you guys? Would a potentially killer bacterial outbreak stop you from eating at your favorite restaurant?